when a German commander refused to surrender, Patton's critical decision. September 1944, Eastern France. As American forces advanced rapidly through the region, one position brought their momentum to a halt. Sitting on elevated ground was a hardened German defensive site, old, reinforced, and built for resistance. This was not a temporary wartime construction. It was a long-standing stronghold designed decades earlier, with thick stone structures, limited access routes, and natural defensive advantages. Inside were approximately 1,500 German soldiers, commanded by a major who had already made a personal decision about how this situation would end. He had sworn that he would never surrender to American forces. General George S. Patton, commanding the U.S. Third Army, followed a method he believed saved both time and lives. Before committing his men to battle, he attempted resolution without bloodshed. An officer was sent forward under a white flag with a clear message: surrender now, avoid unnecessary casualties, and your troops would be treated as prisoners of war under international law. The response that came back was anything but cooperative. The German major rejected the offer completely and sent a message of defiance. If Patton wanted control of the position, he would have to kill him to take it. The statement was meant to sound resolute, perhaps even heroic. It was the kind of declaration meant to inspire defenders and intimidate attackers. Patton was not impressed. According to those present, his reply was calm and practical. He acknowledged the message and moved on. What followed was not a long siege, nor a desperate back-and-forth struggle. It was a carefully planned military operation that concluded in less than 12 hours. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe to WWII Impact. Strategically, the stronghold could not be ignored. It controlled a critical road junction that American supply convoys depended on. Leaving it intact would have forced U.S. forces to reroute logistics, slowing the overall advance. The position had to be neutralized. Patton's reasoning was straightforward. Surrender eliminated resistance instantly. Refusal meant overwhelming force would be applied quickly. The German major's answer went beyond refusal. He framed it as a matter of honor and duty, presenting his willingness to die as a form of leadership. Patton interpreted it differently. To him, the major had made his preference clear. Planning began immediately. First, Patton ordered complete isolation of the area, no movement in or out, no reinforcements, no supplies. Second, heavy artillery units were moved into position and calibrated for precision fire. This would not be indiscriminate bombardment. Third, air support was assigned specific objectives within the defensive complex: leadership areas, weapons positions, and supply points. Then came a psychological component Patton understood well. Loudspeakers were deployed within range of the position. The defenders were informed of what would happen and when, not as threats, but as a schedule. They were given time to think. The night passed under tension. At first light, exactly as announced, the artillery began firing. The bombardment focused on key structural points, systematically weakening defensive positions. German guns attempted to respond, but American counterfire was immediate and accurate. Any attempt to fight back only drew more destruction. After sustained artillery fire, airstrikes followed. Precision attacks struck command areas and ammunition storage sites. Explosions echoed through the stronghold, damaging internal defenses and cutting off coordination. Throughout the operation, surrender was repeatedly offered. Soldiers were told they could leave the position safely if they chose to lay down their weapons. Some accepted. At first, a few individuals emerged, then small groups followed. They chose survival over loyalty to a commander who had committed them to a fight they could not win. The major attempted to stop the collapse with force, ordering punishment for those attempting to surrender. Instead, morale disintegrated even faster. the defenders realized they were trapped between American firepower and their own uncompromising leadership. When American ground forces advanced, resistance was uneven and disorganized. Small pockets fought briefly before surrendering. Patton's preparation stripped the position of its ability to resist effectively. The major was eventually located inside what remained of his command area. When confronted, he raised his weapon. An American soldier fired, ending the encounter immediately. The condition he had set, death before surrender, had been fulfilled. From the opening barrage to the final surrender, the entire operation lasted under 12 hours. American casualties were minimal, German losses were significant, and the majority of surviving defenders were taken prisoner. Post-battle analysis revealed that morale had already been deteriorating before the assault began. Internal disagreements, fear, and harsh discipline had weakened the defense from within. Patton inspected the site the following day. There was no celebration and no satisfaction, only acknowledgement that the outcome matched the choices made. He also ensured that wounded German prisoners received medical care alongside American casualties. For Patton, combat and conduct after combat were separate responsibilities. The story spread quickly among both American and German units. For American troops, it reinforced Patton's reputation. For German commanders, it served as a warning. Patton's surrender offers were genuine. His responses to defiance were equally genuine. The lesson was clear. Dramatic resistance did not delay him. It only determined how much force would be used. What do you think? Should Patton have tried harder to change the major's mind, or was the outcome entirely the result of the major's own decision? Share your thoughts in the comments, and for more in-depth WW2 stories, subscribe to WW2 Impact.